Welcome, everybody, to the Journeymen Lounge Podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
Welcome, Journeymen Lounge Podcast listeners, coming to you live. Not really, this is recorded. On a beautiful Wednesday night. I am 1/3 of the original three, Sir Woj, coming at you. To my right, we have...
They call me Remy Lobo, but you can call me the Gambi.
I like it. I definitely like it.
My name is Ryan, but you can call me Gambit.
Okay. If you're trying for a new nickname, let's see if that sticks.
No, I just
Unenthusiastic over here. I'm just Bobby. I don't know. You guys can really spice up your nicknames. That's fine.
I mean, I like Uncle Fungus. That's what my nephew calls me. I don't know why. Just one day. Now he does not call me any fucking thing else.
I like calling you Clark Kent with your glasses. That's a good one.
That's a good one. I'm also Mr.
Mr. IR.
Mr. IR is a good
Mr. Questionable.
one. Bobby, I think this week you're going with Mr. Sunburnt.
Yeah.
So let's get into that because this is a great.
I had a golf weekend with some of my sister's friends. You know, now that we're all grown up and adults, my sister was about 2 years ahead of me in school. We went to Gull Lake. It's in Michigan. It's about 3 hours from here.
Okay.
Like about 45 minutes north of New Holland, if you guys ever been there in Michigan. So just to give you an idea in general. And we did 36 holes, and then a beach day. So we rented out pontoons, sandbar. But I guess the funny quip that I was telling Woj before we got here was, out of the 36 holes first day, no problem. Second day, got through the first round. And then as we began on the second round, the second 18, it just, skies opened up. It was just raining, just sheets of rain. And it was going on for about 20, 30 minutes. Our team was doing well enough. We didn't win. It was Ryder Cup style, different things as we were doing it. But we had around hole 3 of the West Course. So if you guys are ever there, it's just after a par 3. We had an okay drive out there, 200, maybe like 30 or 40, and we're off to the left. I pull out my 5-iron. We're about 170 out-ish. It's wet, super wet because it's just downpouring, so I'm drenched already because, you sit under your cart, but you still get wet. I connect with my 5-iron. It was a great strike. I launch my club in my follow-through, and it had to, I guess the people there watching is like, that thing could have sailed over a 5-story building, no problem, just because.
Yeah, so you got some distance.
Some distance, so the height, and lo and behold, this thing goes sailing up into a tree, trickles down, but then catches a branch and is stuck about 25 feet off the ground,
talking to your mind.
Cradled into this branch. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I just lost my 5-iron. I'm like, I'm not going to stand for it. So I told him, you guys just drive up, pull off my shoe because, that's the only projectile I really have.
You could have hit another golf ball at it, I guess.
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't trust that shot. It was a rough day. That was the last round of the 72, and I was beat.
But tell us what happened to your shoe, though, as you're throwing it up there.
I got stuck in the tree, didn't it?
God's fun joke. I knocked down my club. Shoe gets stuck in the tree and well stuck in the tree. So I pull off my other shoe and I attempt to knock it down with the other shoe.
Stuck.
And no, just the one got stuck. But after 15 minutes of attempting it, there is a video I might share with you guys. So if you're on the third hole, look to your left. You might find my FootJoy white.
What did the people
shoe
say to you when you're walking up Shoeless Joe fucking Bobby?
So what I did was essentially I rode in the cart and I just drank and enjoyed myself for the remaining of the 18 holes.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is that so I'm putting myself in their position.
Right.
If my buddy comes back to me with one shoe missing, I am pissing my pants.
Oh, they all were. So I'm not kidding you. So as it rained, all these groups, started to pile up on one another because we had to stop, until the rain cleared. There had been 4 or 5 carts just literally pointed towards me, trying to attempt to bring down my club and shoe afterwards. So
okay.
they're all very aware of the scenario, and I think they all got a good laugh. So I did get my club back, but my shoe's stuck there, and I have to get some new golfing
How high
shoes.
are we talking, you said?
I'm saying we're on the second story balcony. I'd say that's where my club was in terms of height. If you're on the ground, you're about 20-some feet up.
Like 20, 30 feet?
I'd say about
between the second and third level.
Yeah, and like I said, I was able to get my club down. That was the most important thing. So I got my 5-iron back, but I wasn't able to golf the rest of that round because I had one shoe. And
it always brings up the classic quote. Which way you think it's leaning?
Yeah.
Nah.
Only got one shoe on.
So yeah,
You could have gone barefoot like Jim,
I tried to do that,
Jim
but it was-
McMahon did that.
I know, but
JD?
it was just so wet, and I was just like, oh
John
God,
Daly.
you know, like.
I think you're already having a bad round at that point, where you're
yeah.
kind of just like beer soothes
So
me.
I was just like, I'm gonna coast.
Let's have another beer.
Yeah, so I just had them, everyone take one extra, or someone take an extra swing for me because I'm not out there.
Did you consider getting shoes from the pro shop?
No, fuck that.
Dude,
It was our last
be,
day.
they're upcharged so
Well,
much.
I'm sure it would have been
dude.
very expensive.
No, I didn't consider it because I was like, dude, this is the last 18.
I agree with you.
And I was like, you know what?
The weather for me definitely would have been like, fuck this.
What-
I'm good.
What about
What about?
golfing in the shoes you came in, like your sandals or whatever?
I'm on hole 3, and to go back to the place, because like we were on site, so this place has like pretty much what it would be is like a townhouse or a condo on site. So you have two bedrooms, the kitchen. Like think about college. That was the setup. So you had 4 people within one suite. 4 people. So we had 24 guys there.
Yeah.
But to drive all the way there to get a second set of shoes to come all the way.
Well,
it
also
it didn't
you
make
probably
sense.
fucking soak those shoes as well. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, yeah. 6
Well,
one,
I was
half a
more
dozen
thinking
another.
like I forgot that I was thinking
I was not adding value shots after that because I was physically pissed off,
Mentally, you're
emotionally
gone,
just
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I was just,
I was thinking maybe that like they were in your car in the parking lot. And you
Oh,
just
no.
run and get them real quick. you
No,
know,
I
like-
guess when I put on my golf shoes, my tennis shoes, since we staying on site, so all these courses are on site,
Sure.
So I was just
Walking
like,
out in your
yeah,
attire,
we'll
yeah.
just walk
Well-
out or drive ourselves back with the golf cart, and then someone could just drive it back to the clubhouse.
On the plus side, you got the 5-iron.
I got 5-iron back.
So
I mean,
It was a good strike.
I would argue the more important of the two.
Exactly. I was
You were
like-
saying those shoes were like 10
and
years
like
old
I said,
too.
those shoes have
probably
been,
use new shoes.
Yeah, I could. So that was
Yeah.
the idea. It was like I've had these shoes for some time, and the soles were starting to wear out on the inside. So I'm like, no love
kind of
lost.
like-
But I was just like,
Meant to be then.
yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I think it was like God was like, hey, here's your 5-iron. I'm keeping this.
Now you got a story every time you golf or any
Yeah,
time. with
yeah, it's
anybody.
gonna be a story for sure. There's a lot of other fun stories, but
We'll get
yeah,
you
we'll get in
some
maybe
other
a
time.
time.
So
Maybe we'll have some fun stories tomorrow.
I was just about to segue to that. So tomorrow is going to be our second official Journeymen Lounge podcast golf outing. We're playing Old Orchard. We're going to do a little bit of, a little recap, kind of what we did before of
Who's joining us?
some videos. My buddy Somong, family friend, shout out.
The Asian dude?
Yeah.
Oh, I know him. I met him.
Yeah, Somong.
He stayed with your dad or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice kid. Nice guy.
Great guy. He's It's going to be fun days, but we're going to hold off and we're going to talk
Looks
about
like-
that on the next one.
Me and
So real
Bobby.
quick though, graphic. That's where I got my hole in one. It was like hole 14,
Right,
about
Bobby,
145 yards out, 9-iron, baby.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
can't believe
Old
that.
Orchard. Yeah, that was.
Is that your only one?
That's my only one. It
Talk
was in
about a
2016.
hole in one.
But like I said, whoa, to the right recipes, like maybe you try to recreate it. I was drunk. I was cigar out of my mouth. We were slow
shit!
that
I gotta
day
pick.
too.
I gotta
so.
pick up cigars for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so hold on, bring this full circle. Did you get new shoes for tomorrow then?
No, I'm gonna be in my gym shoes, so it's gonna be a little interesting. But the course itself isn't as long. It's not a big yardage course, so I'll just try my best.
Just make sure you have a pair either way.
I have shoes.
Like a habit, because I keep mine in my bag, and if they weren't in there, maybe I would have just like, oh, maybe they're just in there. And then you show up and you got
I
nothing.
am getting new shoes though soon enough, but
Yeah.
until then, I'm just gonna gym shoe it and not swing out of
tomorrow
mine.
should be around where it shouldn't matter your
No.
shoe attire, whether you're wearing golfing
hope
shoes
not,
or
yeah.
whatever. Usually only in like precipitation or fucking
Right, if it
I-
stays
real
dry enough, it should be
humid
good.
Although
conditions.
I will say though, when I play sports, I like having the proper equipment.
Yes, agreed.
I feel like I'm like you're getting ready for battle or like an event. Like you need the right things.
You get a little more torque when you have
Like
cleats. You
golf-
can really dig in.
Golf
Yeah.
shoes, basketball. I need my basketball shoes, bowling, et cetera, et cetera.
I suck at bowling. That's
All
one. Yeah.
tangent we don't need to go down. All right, so let's. I mean, I could talk about sports that I want to.
No, he's right. He's right.
We have an
agenda. We have an agenda.
I mean, I was done.
You guys wanted to.
No, we're good.
Bring up Hard Knocks.
Yes,
I really
HBO Max.
haven't watched Hard Knocks. I know what it is. What team is doing it?
Really?
No. The in game is the Bears, correct?
No, right now is the Bears.
Right now is the Bears. Like season 1.
Shit.
Or
That's what I'm saying.
Like the Bears, literally on Hard Knocks.
You didn't watch it? It was on yesterday.
That's why I had such a strong opinion.
Is this the first week?
Yes.
Okay, at least I'm not that.
Well,
far
no,
behind.
but like the fact that you were unaware.
I'm
of
a Green Bay fan, and
when
I
it was
already
taking
watched
place.
it,
buddy. I know that
Buddy.
they're doing Hard Knocks in season. So there's
that's the AFC North.
Right. So I had them just simply switched up. I was like, oh, that's cool. We're going to get Bears Hard Knocks in season. Simple mistake. But either way, what are your guys' takes from Hard Knocks? I will be watching it soon.
Who want me or him?
Who the fuck
I'm going to
knows?
start off real quick. It sounded like almost one of those nature shows who did the voiceover work. Maybe
Leave Schreiber. It's always him.
I know, but it just for me, it's like, and the mail. You know, it just sounded like something that I could easily just turn to Animal Planet and it'd be the same voice describing, the African plains and different
You're talking to
predators.
David. You're talking to Sir David Attenborough.
No, but I'm just
that's
saying
the
the
guy who
voice,
would
like
narrate.
the voiceover of whoever it was. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's always Leave Schreiber.
I literally just said Sir David Attenborough. That's who used
Yeah,
to be the
right.
one.
Okay, well then, very similar.
Did you like the one part where Joe Buck and Troy Aikman said that Leif Schreiber is going to be talking about this, and then he did it on the thing? He's like, well, Joe, this one's for you. And a connection from Caleb Williams to Colin Johnson. Or
You know what?
whatever.
One thing I did enjoy, and maybe I'm not a Bears fan, so I wouldn't know. They were using the music of the Bulls trying to announce the
I thought that was
Bears.
cool.
I don't like that.
That was awesome.
Be your own person, have your own identity.
But no,
They had that dun 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 dun, dun
They were
Yeah,
comparing
Alan Parsons
how
Project.
they were saying.
and they're already giving him like MJ status. I'm like, dude,
okay.
Okay,
All right.
two things.
Wah.
Answer the
let's
first one.
let's
pump the brakes.
You're
Pump the brakes.
painting the wrong picture. I mean, they are kind of doing that, but not. They were talking about how Caleb Williams.
Stop.
is-
Answer the theme part first.
I am getting to it.
Yeah, let
me cook.
Let him cook.
It just seemed like you were going and answering the second.
No,
one.
I
You're
got
good.
you.
They were saying how Caleb Williams could be like if he plays everything, like how this is a Bear City and how it hasn't been this exciting since MJ kind of thing. What they were alluding to,
Right.
a player of this like
Caliber.
hope and potential or whatever. And so they played like the starting music for like the Bulls like
Alan Parsons
lineup.
Project.
Yes, well, like they do for every game, and they had the guy do it for Caleb Williams. I thought it was pretty cool. Now, obviously, and they even talked about it during the episode with Nick Saban. He was on there as well, and other people that he's got a lot of pressure on him to to get this job done, to be this messiah or be a great quarterback. But he's got the tools. He seems like although like you said, he's got some demands and things.
I think he's just a very bold personality, which isn't a bad thing.
I was gonna say, he may be eccentric, but he seems at least confident and
confident.
and also willing to learn. He was and a good teammate. He was interacting with all his teammates. He wasn't he didn't seem like he was above everybody.
He can't sing. I'll say that.
No, but he didn't seem entitled or anything. So far it was interesting. A lot of Caleb Williams, a lot about Eberflus.
Eberflus, yeah. I like him as a coach.
They had the one guy who sang he's a Canadian guy. He sang Proud to be an American in a fucking Speedo.
The most monotone voice, too.
Like Will Ferrell in that one Saturday Night Live sketch.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty funny. But yeah, I thought it was a good start. I'm excited to watch Hard Knocks normally, but I'm especially excited when it's the
I'm
Bears.
curious, and this is more of a yes/no for you guys.
I was gonna.
So go ahead. Sorry, go.
Can I answer the question?
You didn't see it, so can you?
I'm not. I'm referencing the first question that you had about the theme music and stuff
Yes,
like that.
okay.
And using that for that, you have to realize that every city does not have like a thing that the Bulls were known for. This thing, it is iconic to the city of Chicago. It is used across everything.
Like the
every
Blackhawks
sport.
when they score a goal. That same thing. Sorry.
I'm sure you've even seen it. Probably lower teams used it as one point, like a AA fucking minor league team in hockey probably used it as. It's just always used. So I wouldn't try and get it's like that's the Bulls theme, that's specific to them. I get that that's your kind of feeling, but just kind of keep in mind that is so iconic. It's used too much in different things. It is the Bulls theme.
No, I know
first
that.
and
I guess for
foremost.
me, there's a place for it, and that's exactly the place and the only place.
Plus, that's
but-
HBO's production decision. They're
Right,
trying to like make people interested and like compare it to something they know. You know,
yeah, I
like-
definitely agree with that. And I'll again, without have seen the show, I will just kind of say is that the comparison to MJ is like comparing somebody to Christ, right?
Right.
And
Black Jesus. I
when-
mean, that was a nickname of his.
right. And I'd never heard that one before
Oh.
right now, but that's fine now. Okay. So in the grand scheme of things, a lot of people have been compared to MJ. In my opinion, nobody is stacked up. I don't give a
No.
fuck who you are.
No.
You have that much success in that little time and that much of a perfectionist in the finals and the playoffs where the money is. I just look at it like they're hyping up Chicago. I just hope that he doesn't fall short, which my expectation of him is very simple. Just simply show promise. Show
Right.
that you can read the defense, run when it needs to be, win a game. That's all that I need to see for him to be a success in my
I
mind.
really think I really think if he could minimize turnovers and minimize just like dumb plays. If you could minimize those as a rookie
Rookie
you're-
mistakes, yeah.
like I said, you're putting yourself up for success because the Bears defense, you know, they're not bad.
They're good.
They're supposed to be pretty
They're
good
not
this year.
bad. And here's my question. It's a yes/no. Do you feel that Caleb Williams is set up best as a rookie quarterback versus all the other rookie quarterbacks that, okay, like Elway when he started, did he have that type of, like, try to think of some of the best
You think of
quarterbacks
ever?
I'm thinking that this guy has the best
Yeah,
setup
he
around
has
him
for
compared to anyone
I mean,
else I could think of.
Without like off the top of my head, he definitely has one of the better setups coming into it. Like loaded, stacked. He has 3 legitimate, could be number 1 receivers in any other offense. Maybe.
Yeah, you have
A
DJ.
good tight end. you have
Keenan
a
Allen.
new running back in
Romeo
in
Dunze.
Swift. You got a good backup in Roshan
Yeah,
still.
dude.
The really question mark is going to be, like you said, Caleb adjusting, reading things, and then also the offensive line is banged up right now real bad. We got
Right.
like 3 starters who aren't playing. So if they're banged up, that could affect him, which could affect the rest of the offense. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely nailed that, but we want to keep some of the football talk.
we're going to be
obviously.
talking about
Yeah,
Bears.
we'll be talking about it later. I
Every
think
week
that
they're
this
giving me an
guy,
episode,
this
so,
guy
you
is
know.
coming in with a good set of cards, whereas some of these other pros that we know or some of these other
Absolutely.
legends came in with,
Yeah.
all right, buddy, you know, just try to go out there and not die, you know.
I totally get that.
100%.
I'm in the same. I literally couldn't say anything else
I mean,
other than you
As-
covered kind of everything there. So I agree.
All right.
He's put in.
I'm
a great
excited
position.
for him. I'm
me
excited.
too.
We'll see.
As you
I
guys
just-
know, I wanted this to happen. I predicted it. I hoped for it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, Ryan the Oracle, new nickname.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get it going over to the album review here. This was
Yep.
Bobby's pick, right?
This is Straight Outta Compton, release date August 8th, 1988. I was born in 88, so I was like, man, I was like, 4 months old when this thing popped off. $3 million worth of sales.
The group
is.
NWA.
NWA.
All right.
And we'll go over those. I'm going to go through the tracks real quick, and then I'll have Ryan do the members because I think you have that on lock.
Sure, man.
So let me go through the tracks on this. There's 13 tracks to this. I was kind of pulling off of what you did last week. I was like, all right, let's stay with this rap game, and this is one of the best albums that came out. Like I said, I think it started to mainstream some of this gangster rap. Prior to that, there are artists and other people that have done that, but I think
Couple.
this put it more on the spotlight. So let me go through the tracks. Straight Outta Compton, right out of the gate, number 1. Flashlight, we want Easy, Gangsta, Knee Deep, Part 1, Boys in the Hood, Everybody Love the Sunshine, Dope Man, Fuck the Police, Express Yourself, which I fucking loved, Weak at the Knees, Quiet on Set, 8 Ball, The Dude You Love to Hate, Real Guys,
Wait. I got a different list.
No Vaseline, and Nothing But a G Thing.
Those are not. That is not.
Is that not the 13?
Nope.
It should be.
Oh,
I
shit,
have
I'm
it
looking.
as
No,
Straight
run
Outta
it, run it.
Compton, Fuck the Police, Gangsta.
Yep.
If it ain't rough.
Yes, sorry, damn it. I was looking at the
Or-
2015
You want me to keep going? You want me to-
re-release. No, go ahead. You got it.
Parental discretion is advised.
Yep.
8 Ball remix, something like that. Express Yourself. Compton's
Damn.
in the House remix. I Ain't the One. Dope Man remix. quiet on the set, something to dance to. That's what I had.
You're right. No, sorry. I was reading off of the re-release that came out in 2015.
Right.
So
there's
apologies.
That was probably from like the movie or something. Yeah.
Right, because there was a cinematic piece about this.
Biopic.
Biopic.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us the members?
Sure, yeah.
You got this on lock.
Yeah, so the members would be Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, MC Ren, and DJ Yella. And then there's a couple other guys that were kind of in and out of the group. I believe the guy's name was like Prince Arabian, and the DOC was kind of somewhat in there, somewhat not. But the main ones, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, MC Ren, DJ Yella, Eazy-E. Those would be your core.
Those are the core.
NWA classic 5, if you will.
Yeah, and we still got Ice. I love seeing him in different media, different art forms. I mean, Ice Cube is such a cool dude. So
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say they all met up from, if you've seen the movie.
I have not seen the biopic.
They all met up in like high school. They lived in Compton.
Right.
Dr. Dre had his own group with DJ Yella, but they kind of did different kind of rap. And then they wanted to get into different, like more like harder shit, like real life rap.
Right.
It was called the time before they called it gangster rap, real rap or whatever. They recruited Ice Cube, who was like one of the best lyricists. He wrote a lot of their songs. Of course, Dr. Dre produced most of them, made most of the beats. Then they got MC Ren, who's another MC.
A lot of different talent on this crew. So, no, I'm glad that you have the background on kind of some of their abilities and what they brought to the table.
And then Eazy-E actually wasn't supposed to be part of it. He funded the group. He didn't want to be part of it, but they were like, hey, man, something with Ice Cube at the time, I think he was having an issue with his other group. He couldn't record things. So they're like, why don't you record this, Eazy? And he was a horrible rapper. Dr. Dre literally had to teach him how to rap, or Ice Cube and him both had to teach him how to rap. They would like do one line, stop the tape, cut it in one other line because he was so bad. And eventually,
so he was not fluid, but his voice
is so unique.
His voice is very unique, though. So call it, call it whatever you will. But I didn't know that. That's cool.
And he ended up being one of the, the main guys. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, having listened to this record, I guess my first question to you guys is, when were you introduced to this band, or when was this kind of brought to your own lives, growing up?
So I probably heard about them when I would say, probably at least high school, I would think. Maybe junior high at the earliest, probably like high school, maybe a little after. I used to watch a lot of VH1. So a lot of like
before you go to school, pop that on.
Shows about music or about rap, like behind the music. I think they had some Dr. Dre, Ice Cube stuff like that. And then I really, I only knew like maybe the main ones like Straight Outta Compton or Fuck the Police. And then I really got into them when the biopic came out. Maybe a little before that, but around that time. And then I got into their whole like discography. It was a really great movie and really got me, I say, further into the rest of their tracks I didn't know about before that.
Yeah, I would just say that I was periodically, this music genre is obviously a rated explicit.
Yes, I would say. Yeah.
Which I do.
Spoiler alert,
Yeah, but I do like that part of it. Just a real quick interjection is just like, as you guys have heard me bitch about the fact that like trying to find a song for a song, like a group that's maybe not the entire thing is explicit, but the one song is, and then you click on it, it's the fucking radio edit or whatever. Then I'm like, fuck, now I got to type in explicit.
Yeah.
It's just a hassle.
Don't listen to the radio edits.
But this one, there is no other radio edit. You cannot make a radio edit.
There are, but they're really bad.
No, but I'm just saying, when I typed in NWA, this album is Straight Outta Compton, all the explicit tracks came up, right? Because they knew that's what you want to listen to. You don't want to listen to that radio edit. Backing it up to the initial point. I heard these songs very periodically. It's not in my normal rotation of music growing up. Probably just kind of more rose to prominence when the movie came out. Started to be like, oh yeah, I have heard those songs periodically, but I love the group. It's just, again, it was not my cup of tea necessarily.
Right, and nor would it be. I mean, you're kind of like, if you're a young guy going into middle school, I'm not sure you're going to be exposed to something like this.
No,
I think that was.
But you can't deny though that there's fucking people that they hear something like this once,
right,
and then that becomes their whole persona of like I definitely knew kids in junior high
absolutely,
who are like, well, now NWA is my life. I'm like, your name is fucking Kenny, and you live on Waterbury Street, or
right?
whatever.
Yeah,
like,
your parents have
Well,
a trust fund. You could chill, homie.
I would say I agree that like I think their music's very good, but you have to be definitely in the right mood or mindset probably to want to listen to it. It's not like you just throw it on cleaning the house or something, or like
although I did throw it on when I
But I
cleaned
mean,
the
like,
house, but
you
I
know,
agree with what
usually
you
it's
said.
like, oh, like maybe I just watched the movie, or I'm in like an 80s or a gangster rap kick, or maybe I just want to hear I'm kind of in a pissed off mood or something. And
I could see more anger would probably be a
know,
better.
Sometimes if you have like maybe like a basketball or like a pump up playlist, maybe a couple of those you throw on there.
Oh, definitely some of these. Now, one thing that I got from this maybe is my own, opinion or my own take on this. I really enjoyed each, not all of them, but a lot of their tracks. They're telling you like it's a story. It is a riff between all their different members, telling you about a story, telling you about how things are progressing. I mean, Dope Man in itself was a walkthrough of life as a gangster, life slinging, drugs. So.
Exactly right. This is like I said, this is during the the late '80s, especially in LA when the LA police were really coming down on them, and just like it was rough living there, like ghetto and crime and drugs, and they were really painting the picture of how life was then, and not hiding it, like telling you like what the police are doing, telling you that there's drug dealers in the alley and people are dying, and and they just didn't give no fucks. Like said, it's like you said,
there's some cultural like relativity to what they're saying. So I guess that was always I think something different. That you probably didn't hear before that. I mean, they were literally walking you through in a very cool way about situations they found themselves in growing up.
They got popular, and they pissed a lot of people off in the process. Of course, like police and people who support them. But you know what? It's like
censors,
of course. But it's like they're just saying how it is, and like they had experiences with police targeting them or beating them up.
First Amendment, man. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
I'm just saying, but like it wasn't coming out of thin air.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like they have reason to be talking about this experience.
I would also just say that the tempo of a lot of this stuff, it's a smidge faster than the 80s. But it's still quite slow compared to especially today's.
For sure, the production.
Not today's, but like even just any time after that, it's very like...
The production's very simple.
Yeah, and I would just say like Kool-Aid Gang is like something that kind of comes to mind of like, it's very like a hip, a hop, a hip, a hippie. The beat, though, if you listen to that, it's very similar to like
you're saying a slower tempo, which is fine because like I said, it's not... how fast you could get like 30 words out.
Right. They didn't give a fuck about
speed
words
rap. It's more of, like you said, real rap.
It's really it's called real rap, gangster rap,
Okay, so let's move on. First question. Next question.
All right, so favorite tracks, A-side. Let's hit it. Top 2 or 3.
Like of anything or the ones that are like the singles?
I got...
Of the album, just period.
Any of them, okay.
I'm going just quick 3, Straight Outta Compton, obviously, Fuck the Police, and Express Yourself. I mean,
really love that one. Yep.
Easy top 3. Those are, to me, those are the beats that they may be slower in tempo, but like Fuck the Police and Straight Outta Compton definitely have a it hits you fucking right up. To me, the other ones, like, yes, they're talking about kind of like, hardcore shit, but to me, it just didn't, like, the beats and it's just kind of all came together for those 2 songs that just, like, the message of that gives you edge. The beat is fucking dope. And by the end of it, you're like, holy fuck.
I was hoping you'd say that, the Straight Outta Compton, because you are very particular about how you want to be introduced to an album.
Yeah, it's a banger to come out to.
Dude,
sure.
This one's coming out firing. Go ahead.
For sure. I mean, you have to include Fuck the Police, Straight Outta Compton. You can't not. I mean, like, I would feel disrespectful to them not including those. Mm-hmm. But outside of those, I really love, my favorite would be Dope Man.
Yeah.
Ice Cube. Anything with Ice Cube where he gets multiple bars and he's kind of like leading the way, if you will. Those are good. And besides that, I like Gangsta a lot. Those are my 3 or 4 I like the most.
So you guys already kind of hit on some of mine. Obviously, Straight Outta Compton isn't... You know what?
It's
it might
there,
be.
it's there, but it's not
It's
your
a flip
favorite.
for me.
I like Fucked Up Police more than Straight Outta Compton. If I'm gonna choose one over the other, I would say.
You know what? Dope Man and Express Yourself and Straight Outta Compton. You could shuffle any three of those. Those would be my top three. Now, there are a few of the others that I just like enjoyed and like I guess low key was
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I Ain't the One and Parental Discretion is Advised. I really enjoyed those two tracks.
Honorable mentions. I would have 8 Ball.
8 Ball was good too.
and
Shit.
Compton's in the House. I like those two. They were kind of like funky good beats.
Yeah.
I don't have any other honorable mentions.
honestly think
I
it-
thought that the other songs were not that great.
I think Express Yourself.
Really? Okay.
Express Yourself's a little overrated to me. It's
Oh,
it's not
boo.
bad. It's just it's
Boo.
fine. It's like first of all, I don't know. Dr. Dre is like kind of leading on it, and like as good of as a producer as he is, I don't think he's like the best rapper necessarily. Like
Okay,
Let's
that's
take
a
it-
fair assessment,
Let's
though.
take a dip down to producing in this because although I don't like a majority of the other songs, the producing on it, I mean, it's not the craziest shit. Like in some of them, I feel like it's very repetitive, but in the ones that hit, I mean, like I obviously to this like that point, like Straight Outta Compton, I've never heard anything like that with the fucking. It's not air raid sirens. It's like a police.
yeah.
Kind of sign, air raid's
Yeah.
very particular.
Right.
It's
No,
more of
I
like
think
a
when this track
police-
comes on, if you're driving, you do a quick, once around
Right.
too. Which,
But I'm just saying, like the songs that really hit me were the ones that I thought were like, it's so much of an out of box like beat and the fucking all that shit, and then lyrics like built into it. The production for me, for as good as Dr. Dre is, I just think that like I don't see the producing in these other ones as like, holy shit, Dre produced like 10 fucking awesome.
but to toss in 13 gems on a one of their
Fair,
initial
yeah.
albums, that's a tough ask.
It's early on in his producing career.
Okay.
Like, think about it late, like in 4 years, he'll do The Chronic.
Right.
And he'll revolutionize West Coast rap for like forever.
right.
G-Funk. Like, it hasn't come to that point yet. but
Call
you-
this growing pains.
You can see
know?
like the steps, like he like the early like taking different things and mixing them in and like taking samples from old songs and like
this is before like too much synthesized. This
Right.
is more of an art form.
And-
I think in the 90s it started to pick up and
yeah,
get a little
but
different.
I do agree with what you're saying. Is that yes, it's the foray into his actual career.
it's not
there.
his prime.
But
you know.
I'm just saying is that like everybody should like kind of see that though. I'm not crazy that like a lot
No,
of these
they're-
songs have
well,
very
it's-
rudimentary beats.
It's the
That-
80s.
I would agree.
It's
I would agree.
early on in rap in general. It's not rap's only like 10 years old at this point. Like it's.
I understand it. I just don't see it of like why would you include a couple of the songs? Like I wish I could remember which ones were the exact, like not the exact same, but it's pretty.
I
pretty
think I know
much
what
like
you're talking about.
Same
though.
beat, they just interchange the words, and then I do have to mention this before we get into the next little beat though. Is like the lyrics to me. Some of the songs, again, absolute bangers. They're fucking dope. Some of the lyrics in the other ones, they sound like Mickey Mouse rhyming, and I'm like, I thought
Sure.
I remembered.
Mickey Mouse, right?
I remembered
I'm dropping bars,
NWA's
y'all.
like the lyrics and shit like that were so much more like I don't know, thoughtful or like made more like sense or whatever. Some of the shit was like, yo, if you think you're funny, I'm gonna get this money. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Well,
like super fucking Mickey Mouse.
Again,
shit.
I would say
If you're gonna kill him, I'm a villain.
we have the hindsight of we've been around since it came out almost.
Right.
True.
So
Yeah.
we have the hindsight of like 35 years of rap or whatever. We've been able to listen to the evolution of artists and beats, and the rhyme schemes and things have got more complex and better in some ways, but they couldn't have happened without these guys laying the
Right,
path,
dude. This is a foundational group for sure.
Like I do agree with you though. Like obviously, like it's very early on. That's how rap I think was more in the '80s. Like Run DMC,
Yeah.
Hello Cool J was more simple, more like not nursery rhyme, but kind of in a sense more of like a gangster version of that.
Yeah.
But
I just kind of look at it as like I guess maybe it's just my own misinterpretation of like I thought NWA came out with this first track and like everything on the track was fire, and they just went like, hey,
I think you got to level set expectations.
no,
of it
but like
sometimes.
again, this is me. I'm
Yeah.
not a huge fan of it. I just thought that NWA was like the beginning of this. I just thought that they came out with a much more complete album of like, oh shit, you have 7 to 8 good songs on it. Where in my opinion, it was more like 3 to 4,
That's
and
fair.
then
That's
the other
fair.
ones kind of fell short of what I was expecting.
That's fair. I would say I have their greatest hits, which I think is better than this album like by
Fair
itself because it's got more obviously greatest hits.
It's a compilation,
songs.
yeah.
Right.
But again, their rapping in their way, their sound is of the time. That's just how it was.
I think it's unique, man. I think if you threw it on any time, you'd know
they were
who's singing.
Yeah, and they were, they were inspiring other people later on. Like, I'm sure they had some people that inspired them, obviously. But again, very early on in rap in general, then like it's just coming into prominence almost at that time.
All right. Well, I'm honestly good. Let's put a bow on this thing, and I know who's teasing our next album
But
review.
before we finish that up, I just want to just kind of mention to me, and I'll get you guys' take on this real quick. To me, 6 people is too many for a group. They did try and divvy it up a little bit with certain people, and I think that's also where I kind of lost the luster. Like a couple of the songs like MC Ren those guys leading it. I was just like, I'm not interested.
I was gonna say that too. My skips were all the like basically solo MC Ren songs, and I like MC Ren, but I kept waiting for Ice Cube. I'm like, or Eazy-E. I'm like, where are these guys at? Because their voices are more distinct, and Ice Cube is the best in the group, in my opinion.
By far.
He's the
best lyricist,
best flow,
rapper, yeah.
And clearly, obviously, after he left the group and became a solo artist, that proved that because the group folded. Pretty much had one more album, and then they were toast. But yeah, I would just say too about Gangsta Gangsta. I really love the beat in that one. It's got the funky, bow, 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 bow. We were talking about beats, like the bass.
Yeah, no, Gangsta Gangsta definitely
really good. It's one to touch on that.
Banger.
Okay. But I'm good other than that. I mean,
all right, whose
it's
next
good
album is it?
I think it shifts.
Bobby? Me, because I chose the movie, right?
Yeah, shifting back to our
it was
producer.
No, you did Temptations before.
Then we did Surfaces, then Graduation,
then NWA.
Then you.
Back to me.
Yeah, okay.
All right, man. I'm going to
figure it out.
Yeah. Doing it live.
There we go. I'm going to throw out one that I have never listened to in its entirety. I love the group, but this could be another stank.
So this is
you.
like a pre-warning just in case.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't think it will be a stank on you, but I'm not really.
Do I see?
I'm not
he's giving
really,
me shit with NWA too.
No, I'm not. No shit. I'm just saying it's like just keep that in mind.
Okay, I'm open.
We're gonna do Wu-Tang.
I thought I saw that.
Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chamber.
All right.
Okay, I like Wu-Tang.
I love Wu-Tang. I've listened to many of their songs. I just don't. Like, again, it's the same thing with NWA. Of like, I haven't listened to it in entirety.
I think it'll be good.
I'm liking that we did hip hop and rap, all three of us, to kind of like, round this out.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna be back with the movie review, Shawshank Redemption. That was my pick. Quick 30-second break. Go get a beer. Fucking be back. Shawshank's about to fucking rock on. Here we go.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
So we are back. The Journeymen Lounge Podcast is back for the movie review, Shawshank Redemption, my pick. I am really pumped. If you guys fact check me on this, is 94 correct?
Oh,
correct.
Dude, one of the best years in film. If you know, one of the best Oscar years.
Yep.
Am I stepping on your toes?
No, go ahead.
Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, Quiz Show. Infamously, Forrest Gump beat out Pulp Fiction and this. For director and best picture.
Right, I know it was nominated a bunch, but
I think Tom Hanks also best actor. He kind of swept the major.
And on the comedy scene, you had Jim Carrey, I think.
Yes, and of course you got like Jim Carrey's huge year, Ace Ventura, and all that. But I'm saying the big Oscar
drama movies,
Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, and Shawshank, all the same year. What a great year for film! What a fantastic year.
I think Ryan's gonna do
oh
a
man,
golf
well, dude,
he's excited, man. Let him be excited.
It's just awesome, great choice.
I
know you were born like a year and a half before that came out, and that's cool.
Yeah, I was. 3 years. A couple of years, but I was more in the Toy Story at that time. But that being said, I will just give a quick synopsis here, as well as just mention that Frank Darabont is the director of it.
Starring Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, starring Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, a bunch of other guys we'll get into.
A lot of that guys.
It is the that guy of that guy movie.
It is.
It's loaded. I got a bunch. I'm just saying.
But Frank Darabont, just so people know, because people may have some like, that name maybe sounds familiar. He's a writer of screenplays for a bunch of different fucking shit that you would.
Did The Green Mile. Also was the showrunner for The Walking Dead when it started. Got fired during the second season, but brought it to TV originally.
And I mean, just there's a whole catalog. We can't.
There's
run
more.
through all
Yeah,
of
there's
them.
a ton.
I'm just saying, Frank
just
Darabont
that itself, man. Wow.
Frank Darabont, you just might like. Oh shit, I kind of know that. If you're a film like buff from the 80s, 90s, you kind of know what's up.
We'd love to hear your comments. Yeah.
All right, so let's. The synopsis here is that Tim Robbins as Andy Dufresne is essentially finding out that his wife is cheating on him. There is a double murder of the wife and the golf pro.
Also, we should mention this takes place in the 40s.
In the 40s, yes, obviously, good point. And so he confronts his wife at some point in the night. They are wound up to be murdered. He is obviously taken to trial for it. He is charged, convicted, sent to Shawshank Prison. And in there, it is basically following the life of Andy Dufresne. He maintains his innocence, saying, I did not kill my wife and the partner. And that kind of unfolds leading up to, and there are no spoilers because this movie's 30 years old, you dumbasses.
I like that.
He does end up escaping Shawshank. It's one of the most beautiful endings that
Well, we're going to get into, but the last 40 minutes just sails. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I would just say, though, that again, like the way in which it is put together, it is pure drama. It is, again, the way in which he actually escapes, I think anybody watching this movie is like, fuck yeah, that's cool.
Especially the first time you see it, and if you don't know what's going to happen, you're like, oh shit, like I didn't know where this movie was going, and then it just kind of flips on itself, and you're like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Right. So let's get into favorite scenes right out the bat. I am just going to start with, just in general, not a scene, but Morgan Freeman voicing over those monologues to me is a prime example of like, this is how the movie fucking gets...
This is almost an unanswerable question or not, but did this get more of a Morgan Freeman voiceover work for the next 30 years of his life?
Probably, yeah.
Like just from
right.
This
No,
movie,
I could totally see that. But his voice in itself, even if this wasn't captured in '94, someone else would have probably caught on. But you're right. I think this might have springboarded his voiceover.
Now
work.
he does so many ththings, like every commercial or whatever movie, anything.
And keep in mind the character Andy Dufresne is a very intelligent, young man.
He was a
he's
VP
for a bank
or banker,
and this was happening on just mid 40s. So World War II ended, or was ending.
46.
Yeah, so World War II just ended, and so you got to get yourself into that kind of mindset, and then. I believe the time frame of this movie is
19 years. 47 or 47 to 66 or something like that.
I would call it a 20.
47 to 67 is like 20 years.
A 20-year gap, and this is a 2.5 hour, just shy of 2.5 hour movie. So I mean, you gotta strap yourself in. It's a longer film, but it goes by fast.
All right. Betting on who will die. I mean, in the courtyard, there literally new fish are coming in. And
I don't think they're betting on who would die.
Who would break down?
Who would break
Who would say first that I miss my mommy. I'm not supposed to be here.
Right.
Or whatever.
Okay. Sorry.
The dying part was unfortunate, unplanned.
Right.
Oh, I thought that it was.
They were betting on the first one to crack.
Who's like the weak fish? Who's gonna crack first? That's why. The one dude was kind of setting him up, like, "Hey, fat ass."
Yeah, he was egging him on.
What do you think? Hey, fat ass. I got friends, fat ass. And then when he's just like, "Woo!"
So favorite scene? Sorry, are we?
Yeah,
we skip
favorite
by
scene.
that.
Throwing them out.
Go ahead.
Oh, I definitely would go with getting the beers on the roof for the guys.
The whole rooftop scene, man.
Andy overhears the lead guard, Clancy Brown. I believe his name's Hadley. Hadley, he came into some money, $35,000, and he wants to get it, but he's worried about the taxes on it, and it's going to just cost him all this blah, blah, blah. And Andy, just casually strolls over like he's not in prison, like he's just one of the guys. And
walking over towards a guard.
He says, do you trust your wife or something? He's like, what did you say to me? He's like, you trust? And he almost throws him off the roof. And he's like, we got a jumper. We got an accident going. He's like, because if you do, you can
tax-free,
a one-time thing. You can give her the money, and then he's like, all I ask is, I'll prepare for you. All I ask is that 3 beers for each of my coworkers on the last day of working here, and then they have a scene where they're all enjoying.
Yeah, he was going to do the paperwork for him. He's like, you secure the paperwork. I'll put it in. Make sure it's done correctly.
And it's really nice. Like it gets brighter. The film in general, like the color.
You're right.
Like the sun.
There is a
comes
transition.
out,
Yeah.
And Morgan Freeman has great narration where he's like, we could have just been working on one of our own roofs. For once, we felt like regular people or like men. And then Andy's like, not even drinking. He's just watching the guys enjoy the beers.
Yeah, I think it's just quick to mention here that because of his VP banking status and intelligence, he has full knowledge of taxes, like
write-offs,
trust funds.
Yeah.
Like
he is your accountant. He is your banker. He's your financial
everything under
expert.
the sun, which he ends up doing
He's doing everyone's taxes,
books, but he does the books for the prison,
and he does the dirty books for the.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my favorite scene, real quick, was I kind of liked it. I guess call it the ending scene where you have Morgan. That's more cinematic for me. You have he's in Mexico. That just
Zihuatanejo.
Yeah, Zihuatanejo, which is south of Mexico City. I actually Googled it. So it's on the Pacific. It's a Pacific Ocean, city.
It's on the beach.
Yeah,
it's on the beach, but
Mexico,
down in Mexico. So he's working. I just like that scene where you see Morgan Freeman walk. Yeah, he's on the boat, sanding it down. You got Morgan Freeman and just like the bluest of blue ocean and the sandy beach.
The whole ending, if we could just, there was like we can honestly from the point where they figure we throws the rock through the poster. And you realize that, oh shit, Andy has escaped. And then they show you how
Sorry, just to kind of provide some more context.
Sure, go ahead,
he
man.
dug a tunnel for basically 19 years.
With a little rock hammer.
With a small rock hammer that was smuggled in by Morgan Freeman.
He hit it with a poster in his cell.
Yeah, because he always had some special privileges because he was doing all these other tasks.
So they
look the other way.
They do the count the one day, and Warden throws the rock through the poster. And it just goes through, there's nothing there. And then from then on, it's so cool. It shows you how he pulled it off, like how he was planning this for years and how he created, the fake to launder the money for the warden. But then he has the ID on him when he escapes, and he goes to all the banks and gets all the money and then fucks the warden
all
over.
Paperwork.
So I also kind of piggybacking on that. I like the scene of him explaining, it's a little bit earlier in the movie, but he's explaining to Red how he's gaming the system. He creates the fake guy that he eventually uses. I like that little explanation.
He pushes the money out there in the market, comes back clean.
He had a great quote in there too. He said, what do you say? He's like, it took me to, oh yeah, funny thing is on the outside I was an honest man, straight in his arrow. I had to come to prison to be a crook.
That was a great. The
the last one too that I just kind of had is that there's the iconic, technically 3. There's the iconic scene of him in the river. It's on the poster.
When he's got his arms spread,
and he's finally escaped. He's in the river to freedom. I like it. I like it more of just as like a picture of it.
Snapshot.
Yeah, just snapshot. There you go. Warden and Andy in the isolation cell after the warden basically says, "You're my bitch. You're never getting
another
out."
month." Yeah.
How about? Yeah.
Well, no, but like, hey, you're never leaving Shawshank.
Right.
There was a plot point where a guy comes in, a blabbermouth at another prison. Tommy's cellmate was a guy who actually murdered Andy's wife and the tennis pro because he bragged about it. The warden has him fucking shot down.
That was crazy. I was gonna say that scene is crazy. It's not. I don't know if it's like it's sad, but it's a cool scene where he's like, oh, that's what I thought, and then he just has the guy shoot him in the dark, like he met him in the yard.
So basically, Andy will never get his justice. The guy is dead. There's no way that the warden allows Andy to kind of get out and
he needs
pursue.
him too much. He can't have him leave. There's no way.
Right, he's too much. Now, there was a lot of symbolism I caught. Sorry, I'm going to just make a quick note.
Sure.
So he's like, they're playing checkers. He's like, let me teach you how to play chess. So that's another thing to his intelligence. Like, hey, this isn't a checkers game for me. This is a chess game for me. But then also the Bible, he's like, you're going to find, your freedom lies within, this or that. And that a little sneak,
sure.
At the end.
I would say, too, that Andy, like in this movie, and like Paul Newman and Luke are like Christ-like figures. They're kind of portrayed as like these guys who can walk out, like they can do things that normal people in this prison would not be able to do, like get things done or just like help everybody out. Like he was getting them their GEDs and things, kind of like, I don't know.
He was a Renaissance
well,
man.
there are like a lot of religious overtones.
Sure.
The warden's like first statement is, rule number 1: there will be no blasphemy in my prison.
Yeah.
And all the other rules, you'll pick them up on the way.
Your ass belongs to me.
Yeah. But like in terms of, I honestly I didn't even kind of put it together. But the fact that he's holding the Bible, I just caught this, is like he's holding the Bible at the like very end of the movie, and the warden is showing how Andy hid the pickaxe. He cut out the pages. And then he also, you think back, the warden held that book.
I thought about that.
Only thing he didn't check in the cell in the very first inspection that
and
he
he
had.
handed it back to him.
I noticed that too, but
So he's literally holding on to the fucking thing that brought him down.
When that scene came up, I thought, I'm like, he didn't open the Bible. I'm like, I guarantee you something's in there, like, and it's because Andy knew the Bible verses, so he didn't have to like.
So that's
check it. He believed him, like.
To his credit, though, he probably read the Bible front to
for
back,
sure.
and he could spit off,
But I think if he didn't know, like,
scripture,
if he was like, "Oh, this is my favorite verse," and Andy didn't know what he was talking about, he'd be like,
he might pull it out and show him. Yeah, you're right.
Can I say one more scene? One more quick scene.
One more as well.
Oh, God, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. The one where Andy locks the guard out of the office and he plays the opera music for everybody in the prison. Iconic. Really like uplifting. I think it was really cool. Again, like seeing all the prisoners, and Morgan Freeman has the quote where he says, "I don't know what those 2 Italian ladies were saying. I don't really care to know, but I think we
felt human
singing
at
it for
this
me
point,
or something." It was I'm just like paraphrasing, but I think we had mentioned.
He had a great monologue for that. Yep.
Sorry if I stepped on your toes there.
No, you're all good, man. Because I was going to mention one final. It's not one scene, but it is a collection of scenes put together. I actually really not enjoyed, but like I thought it was some of the most beautiful film is the scene where Jake is the bird. Brooks is released from prison, and he gets put into this halfway home. He gets a job. He's doing the monologue of just like, I'm not really fitting in here.
He's institutionalized.
I think
he's important inside. Out here, he's just some guy.
Yeah, but then he was also just like, I don't like it here. I think I'm not gonna stay here.
Right.
And he's obviously going to hang himself.
And then he writes the
Brooks was here, and then that was my snapshot thing. Is then sorry, go ahead. Red was here. That
was cool. Yeah,
that was a cool snapshot for me in the movie.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I mean, in the again, I chose a collection of scenes there, but it definitely encapsulates a lot of the soundtrack. And excuse me, as we're talking about that, let's just switch into that. As long as everybody's good on scenes.
Yeah,
I got a quick trivia question for you guys.
Sure.
Shawshank is based in what U.S. state?
New England.
Maine.
U.S. state.
Wrong.
Massachusetts.
Wrong. Ohio. So there you go.
Like the movie or the prison?
Shawshank prison based on what was there?
An
Because
actual
Buxton
prison
is in Ohio as well.
Oh,
The film is based in New England.
The film is based. So the crime occurred in New England, but the prison he was sent to is in Ohio.
Okay.
So there you go.
All
There you go. Dollar trivia night. Go ahead.
Interesting.
I always like to toss in one of those.
Okay. All right. So the soundtrack, I just have a couple of things here. Is that I think the score is just done, absolutely masterfully, and just like it does fit with everything. I just kind of, as I was going in the Brooks and the Wild scene during Andy's escape, like these things, the opera, all these, like, again, the score, and then and then also just again adding in these actual soundtracks, which I don't recognize a whole lot of them. No. Of actual songs that were used aside from the opera.
There's the opera one, and there's the one in the beginning before his wife and the guy are killed. He's listening in the car when he has the revolver. I don't know what it's called.
But I just would say is that the score for me is just obviously it's leaps and bounds over, it just does the film justice with that. I don't know if you guys have anything like any other notes on soundtrack.
Soundtrack, no, I'm good. I think you nailed it. The score is really good. I mean, usually a good movie is enhanced by a great score, and this is, case in point.
I'll say this: the use of practical effects. Like if I feel like this film was done, not partitioned at one thing or another. I think they did a lot of filming, together on site.
It does feel like that.
It does feel like that. So maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but that I liked the practical effects, the scenes, the
Absolutely.
settings. So
anytime you can get actual practical effects, a real place or a real set, not just a green screen like everything today is in green screen.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
it just adds so much more. Like you can
there's some authenticity to it.
You
so
feel
I was
like you can
cool.
reach out and touch it, like you're there.
Those weathered bricks.
I can feel the dirt on the ground or the dirt on the prison bars. Like
yeah. So I also kind of just jumping in on that. I just think that's a good segue to the cast, and I think that's why the cast it does seem to be.
I'm gonna let this guy work. Sorry.
I just think that's why the cast seems to work so well together. I think there's about. What I kind of counted was like there's 12 really not main characters, but guys that you see regularly, and those are the guys to me that I'm like the top 12 cast is just they hit it out of the fucking
Can we
park.
just say, I don't know if we can jump ahead or not, to
Ryan,
there's
just do your
like
thing.
a team of that guys in this
Sure,
movie.
go for it.
And like for some reason, multiple Seinfeld actors in this movie.
Yes,
There really is, yeah.
Multiple. So I'm just going to go in order,
go
not
ahead.
in any particular order. So the lawyer in the beginning is Jeffrey DeMoon.
Yep.
The prosecutor, he's Dale on The Walking Dead. He's a Frank Darabont collaborator in many of his movies. You got David Proval, a.k.a. Richie Aprile from The
Richie
Sopranos,
Aprile, yeah.
one of the crew of Red's crew.
Yep.
Fat Ass. He was the guy in Blue Streak who Martin Lawrence questions about the tires. I don't know if you guys
Yep,
seen
I
Blue
know.
Streak.
Yes, I have
I
seen
know
that.
exactly.
I know exactly the scene you're talking about.
Another guy in the crew is from Seinfeld. He's Brody, the movie bootlegger in Seinfeld. He wanted Jerry to film the movie.
Oh,
and,
yes. Sitting
and he got
back,
sick with the
yeah.
candy or whatever.
That's not Ned Bellamy, is it?
I don't know the guy's name. I'm sorry. He's one of the.
This guy?
No, that guy is Ned Bellamy, though, is also Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's what I
He's
know.
in the Fatigues. He's one of the prison guards.
Yeah.
He was the one who Elaine promoted to write the catalog, even though he had no experience. 'Cause
Okay,
she didn't want to fire him.
Right, the army dude. The guy.
I got more.
Also, Larry Brandenburg is what's his dicks?
Let me see him.
Sorry, Larry Brandenburg
Okay.
is in a bunch of shit. So if you're in Loathing in Las Vegas, he's Cop in Black. I don't think he has a bunch. He's in the original Fargo. He's in what was
That's a cult classic, Fargo.
Would you believe
Go ahead.
there's two more Seinfeld actors in this movie?
I
at
believe it,
least?
man. There's a lot of
You
there's
got
a lot of
the
cast
one
in
prison
this.
guard who says, "I'm going to pinch a loaf, Andy," and then he gets locked out when he plays the music. That's Duncan. Starts with a Duncan. He races Jerry in the race.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yep.
then you also got the one guy, he's an older guy, also in Red's crew. He was the dry cleaner in the episode of Courtney Cox where he gives them the discount for him and his wife.
Oh, him and his wife. Yeah, wow.
And then there's a couple more. You got Boggs, who was, the main guy who was like raping Andy.
They call them the sisters.
The sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Aliens. He's been in Rush Hour. A couple other things.
Larry Brandenburg is the fucking police chief in the Santa Claus.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
yes!
that's where he's
That's
at.
There's the
awesome.
connection.
Okay.
I
Scott,
say name.
you say
say
Scott
Scott
Calvin. Okay,
Name
Woj, I'm not gonna lie.
Santa Claus.
That is fantastic pull. I always want to say that. I was really psyched on my list. And I think I did a great job. But you pulling that, you outdid me, man. That was fucking awesome. I also got one more.
All right, go.
One of the other prison guards who holds the sister guy, Boggs, when he gets paralyzed, when he
They
gets
beat
beaten
him
up.
pretty much.
Is Mike Novick from 24. And only like 24 people out there. His
My
name
brother's a big 24
Judd
fan.
Sikola or Jude Sikola, or, Mike Novak. He's in it. And I'm out right there. I got, that's all I got. But there was plenty.
There's a shitload
and I
of
guess
that guys.
if you want to count William Sadler, I think he's William Sadler, but he's in a ton of things like
I think
Roseanne.
William Sadler is made enough for his name.
I think so too.
Right,
Yeah.
no. I
But some
wouldn't
people might
characterize
not.
him.
Yeah.
All right, so
So that was fun.
I just need.
I know
to,
you enjoyed that. And
Yeah, that
Woj,
was
Woj
dope.
got the cream of
That
the
was
crop
good
of it.
Yeah,
too.
Woj, that was a fantastic pull,
coming
man.
in hot.
I'm really mad I didn't realize that myself. I'm not gonna lie.
So the only thing I just kind of mention here is, again, I do this kind of with every movie now, is I just mention kind of one guy where I'm like, these
who do you like?
in this movie. No, it's like I'm usually like, in the last one I was like Woody fucking Harrelson. I love this dude. He's
Sure.
great. To me, Morgan Freeman is the man. He's my top. Tim Robbins makes a very
That one's just fantastic.
a very hard choice though for this movie. Like in terms of like, obviously Tim Robbins like is the main character.
Yeah.
But Morgan Freeman and him are like vying, and that's why I think the movie
They're
works
like
very
co-leads.
well.
I'd say
They are essentially.
But I'm just saying, in terms of like me, like when I think of like a guy, like we've done like semi-pro, where I'm
Sure.
like Will fucking Ferrell, ladies and gentlemen. Like there is nobody else in this movie. It's fucking like right toe and toe. They work well together. And then I just also want to just mention the 10 that they revolve into, like that's so like Haywood, who's William Sadler. You have Gil Bellows, who just makes a quick jump in. Larry
I like
Brandenburg,
Tommy's character.
Brian
Poor
Libby,
bastard.
David Proval. These guys that just pop in as like the crew, I'm like, that's what makes the movie very
absolutely
like it keeps it going.
You
It's
need to
like
have
you need to have supporting actors
foundation
to be able to carry the movie when Morgan Freeman or fucking Tim Robbins isn't on screen.
Honestly, I was gonna say, if we're not including Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, because that's the obvious, those are the best, then I go William Sadler. He was cracking me up when he's like, lay all the cigarettes down, boys, pay up, and the whole fat ass thing, and then
Richmond, Virginia. Smell mine.
What's the actual actor's name for the homicidal cheat or police, like the captain of
Clancy Brown? He's fucking great.
Hadley.
He does. He does.
He would be my, I guess, if a non-main starter that just his presence in this movie is without question.
And he's generally a bad guy. He's very good at playing. Also, a fantastic voice actor. Voiced Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob, Lex Luthor in Superman, and many other things. He makes a lot. He does a lot of work.
He's Mr. Krabs. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, Mr. Krabs. Yeah, he's great.
Okay, so I'm tapped out on character casting.
Are we doing spin-offs?
Well, I was
going to say,
if I could just have a quick note with casting real quick. The original, they weren't going to, before Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, they were thinking about doing it would have been a different director, I think. Would have been Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise as Andy, and as Red, Harrison Ford. Now, I don't think it would have been as good, but that's interesting.
Harrison Ford is good. Tom Cruise wouldn't work.
Tom Cruise would not work.
I wouldn't buy it.
But it'd been funny to see.
But
it
even Tom Hanks, though, in the early 90s.
Tom Hanks could have worked.
I would put Tom Hanks and Harrison Ford would at least been intriguing.
Yeah.
As long as Harrison Ford fucking did what he
gave
needed
effort.
to do.
But in 1994, he's given effort.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's the fucking man.
What about Bill Paxton? I know tossing him in there as
Andy
Dufresne.
I don't think he had the clout yet to do it.
I'm just saying possible switch in. I did love Tim Robbins as Andy Dufresne. But
no, I think he would have been great too. Bill Paxton, another one of those guys who was a great. You can just plug him in.
Obviously, hindsight is 20/20. But for the plot of the movie, Andy Dufresne has to be kind of a meek-looking guy. Bill Paxton to me kind of already looks like a badass. So I don't think it works out to
play
be.
him down,
I would say Tim Robbins helping him out, him being 6'5" and being so lean, helps his, I think, overall aesthetic in the movie.
Tim Robbins is 6'5"?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Big dude.
I would not have guessed that 100 years. My God. I knew he was like somewhat tall, but I didn't realize this guy could be like NBA, starting, shooting guard.
Yeah.
Jeez
so for quotes, I will just say up top here that
it's a lot of narration.
To me, it is tough because of the monologues that you have. I will say, with that being said,
there's an obvious one.
I have a couple that I still wrote down. They are going to be a little bit long-winded, but I only selected a couple. I mean, one of the ones, though, that just, again, right off the fucking bat where you get kind of the tone of the movie here is, Morgan Freeman. So Red is narrating Andy as is getting into his first night. He's like, and when you put that in, when they put you in that cell and those bars slam home, that's when you know it's for real. Whole life blown away in the blink of an eye. Nothing left but all the time in the world to think about it. It's just like it's fucking setting the tone of like, hey, shit, man, because he's doing a double life sentence.
Yeah,
Andy Dufresne.
Right. You're right. It gets that solemn tone, just to kind of set the scene.
I think that the quote of the movie would be, I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really: get busy living or get busy dying.
Yep.
That's like the one.
That's the one that they use, I think.
Like if you were
more.
putting the poster and the tagline of the poster, that might
Right.
be it.
For sure.
And one of mine, and I know I'm paraphrasing here, is like, a guy like Andy Dufresne is like a bird with beautiful beautiful colors, caged up.
I got it right here, Bobby, if you like.
Go ahead.
Sometimes it makes me sad, though, Andy being gone. Have to remind myself that some birds are meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to lock them up does rejoice. But it's still, the place you live in is much more drab and empty than they're gone. I guess I miss my friend.
Wow, incredible.
Thanks,
and then like a small little blip to that was like, I forget this, like I said, but he's like at the end, my personal, I like Andy. He basically came to that assessment, and he's like, all these other folks, he's like, I liked Andy.
They were friends.
He had another good one too. He said, Andy Dufresne, who crawled through a river of shit and came out clean on the other side.
500 yards of the most foul shit.
I mean, I like when Red got serious, man, in the movie where he's like, Hope. Let me tell you something, my friend.
It's a dangerous
Hope is
thing.
a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. It's got no use on the inside. Better get used to that idea.
And then on the flip side, Andy flips it later, and when he writes the letter to Red, he says, remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
Yeah, if you're willing to go this far, maybe you'll
come a little further.
Yeah. That narration and that fucking last thing is also dope. From Hadley... when he goes up to Fat Ass, he's like, "What is your malfunction, you fat barrel of monkey spunk?" Which is hilarious, and then unfortunately it gets real sad because like the next scene he kicks the ever living shit
and the doctors aren't there, so he dies.
Even William Sadler, who agged him on, he's like, "Come on, shut up, man! What are you doing? Shut the fuck up! Like, stop talking."
You got Andy where this is a point of contention because I can't understand the actual word that said. What is Boggs's group of gang members called? The Sisters.
Yeah,
correct?
The Sisters.
Okay.
He called them they're not human.
The Sisters are the ones going around beating him up and gang raping him throughout the first 2 years of his
real tough shit.
Yeah.
Like very, very
graphic shit.
Not graphic in the sense that they show anything. It's just more graphic in the sense that they don't show anything. And you get
to see the fallout.
Fucking what happens there.
I have this listed, not to branch off too much, but this is one of the prison movie or show tropes, and they had a bunch of them, like the rapey and angry inmate who's kind of giving you a tough time.
Yeah.
Teabag in Prison Break.
You're my bitch.
You got the new inmates, the fishes. You got the one guy who can sneak anything in for you in the prison.
Right, yeah.
Well, everyone has a role, I suppose.
You got the old inmate who's got the pet grandfathered in because he's been there for so long. Right. There's
I just don't think they know about Jake, but that's beside the point. I will say that let's also kind of... I mean, I don't have quite a long film history of not a film history, but a film knowledge of previous prison movies. I feel like this is one that, yes, it is very trope-ish, if that's even a fucking word.
It doesn't bother me.
But I think they do it very well in the fact that the guy that the rapey, angry dude
very well.
Gets his comeuppance. He gets his shit kicked in.
And honestly, for all I know, they could have done it first. I don't know.
The old man gets his piece. Red finally gets his, hey, I made it out a lot. Whatever.
I watched Prison Break that came out 10 years later, and they'd used a lot of the things from Shawshank, so I'm sure they stole it from
there. Was
there,
only one picky nit that I had.
We're not. Nope.
We're not there yet? Oh.
No, dude, we gotta rein it back.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Woj.
Reel it in.
Sorry, dude. Just last couple quotes. I got 2 or 3 more, and then we can get to picking.
Sure.
Sorry, dude. When Haywood collects those cigarettes, he sniffs them. He goes, Richmond, Virginia. And then the guy that I love so much, though, he's fucking not really mentioned a whole lot, is Brian Libby, who plays Floyd. He just comes in with a couple one-liners here and there. He's like, smell my ass.
Yeah.
It's just random here and there.
Smell my ass.
Andy Dufresne, when we were talking about the sisters, he's like, I don't suppose it would help any if I explained I'm not a homosexual. Neither are they.
Neither are they. Yeah.
They have to be human first.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, man, I'm just keeping going.
No, these are good.
Red, why do they call you that?
I'm Irish.
Maybe because I'm Irish. Jake, I'm sorry, Brooksy, when he goes, easy peasy Japanesey.
Yeah.
This is just a random fucking shit.
No, he's been in prison since 1905, so he doesn't know any better.
And then another Brian Libby's like, Red, I do believe you're talking out of your ass. Last one, man up, vanished in like a fart in the wind.
Yeah, that was good shit, man.
All right, sorry, man. I just had to give him.
No, that's good stuff, dude.
That. Bobby,
put a bow.
Now we can go to picking.
So the only real issue that I had with this, and it at least is kind of called out to some degree by the warden, was if he found out that another prisoner, so this is Tommy. He knew the knowledge that, because he sat him down, him and Red. He's like, yeah, I was at prison with this guy. He confessed to this murder. I think him being a smarter individual, he might sit on that information and make sure he gets to the a lawyer or access to certain certain resources to possibly bring a mistrial, or not a mistrial, but a new trial to prove his innocence. I think that him running to the warden right away is like, oh, hey, guess what? Tommy said. I think that wasn't a smart move, but I was like, that just out of character for him. That's all.
I would just counterpoint to that is that I think Andy Dufresne, obviously getting that information, how would you feel? I have a couple of questions that'll be in that same vein, but how would you feel if a guy is telling you that this man that I talked to might possibly be the murderer that you were framed for, basically? Not framed, but you were accused of. I think he's kind of a little jumpy. He's like, fuck, I need to get this. Maybe he thinks that the warden will help him out.
I'd say a few things. Maybe he has too much trust in the warden at that time. He doesn't realize how much of a dick he is yet. And he thinks, because I'm helping.
That's fair, maybe.
I'm helping him out. Why wouldn't he help me out? But he doesn't realize that that's why he's not going to help you out, because he needs you.
Right.
And then maybe two.
And he's in a place of authority.
It's it's the 60s, so maybe he doesn't have access to a lawyer like he would as much now. Maybe he has to go through the warden to even ask for the lawyer
external communications
or something. I don't know.
Like
Yeah,
but like I said, I think you might be right that he maybe have trusted. He put his trust in the warden a little too heavily, and ended up biting him because he did 2 months in the hole.
He's like, he gave me this library and these things.
Right, and we do have to just mention, because we didn't mention cast, Bob Gunton. I mean, dude, fantastic as the warden.
Also been in 24.
Demolition Man,
Daredevil 24.
I mean, just there's a lot of different ones that he's fucking tremendous actor,
one of the reasons he was cast as the warden as well is because he's 6'2", which is almost as tall as Tim Robbins. They wanted a guy who was close in height to him, so he didn't look too small.
Good job for
being
taller.
This blows my mind that he's that tall.
Picking there's obvious ones. When he crawls into the hole, how does he get the poster back up to stay up? He's in the hole. How does he?
Oh,
I never thought about that.
No, but if let's say you secure the poster on the top right and top left, and then it just comes down, so it's more of gravity holding in place.
I see what Bobby's saying.
Maybe he did like a lift up thing.
Crawled in, and then it just by gravity coming back.
You know what? I like to go with that. We don't know. We will never know. But let's go with that because I don't like that part.
It's not bad.
It's a good picky nit, but it is something that is very small, miniature.
Let's say Andy got lucky that there was a storm that night, so he could pound the pipe with the rock. How did he count for that? Did he have a farmer's almanac, or it seemed like he did it on a whim, like he was pissed off and I'm just fuck it.
You thought that was more of an impulsive move.
I'm thinking that Andy knew, this is my take, is that Andy knew that he was going to escape. It's this is the time when the warden is fucking you over.
And I'm sure he's been over there. He's seen the layout of the pipes and shit.
Absolutely. I think that he simply is waiting for it to be hey,
an opportune
is
time.
It going to be stormy? It seems stormy enough. Let's fucking hit it.
Sure, it could have been that way.
The guards could have been like, all right, I got to get out of here. There's, the storm's rolling in.
It seemed like they were portraying as more of an emotional thing where he was like, you're never getting out of here. And
right.
Blah, blah, blah. Well, he had enough kind of thing. But he obviously been planning this for years.
Playing chess, baby.
Hold on, but you do see, though, that they're setting, they're obviously setting him up.
No, he's planning it, yeah.
Not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that they're setting up the reveal to be similar. They want you to think that he's going to hang himself.
For the movie purposes,
so
sure.
This is what I'm saying is that he has to sit there brooding like this.
That's fair enough.
To kind of sell it there. So I think that's just more of the movie plot kind of being
I'm just curious if there was like, if he actually did like, okay, well, the weather is going to be bad tonight. Now I know I can do it or whatever. What else?
Very possible.
He probably smelled like shit when he went to the bank.
Nope.
I don't know.
Soap.
I mean, it was pouring rain, and he did have 1 bar of soap. But
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying that he did have soap. He's not going to smell awful.
But let's assume.
Why did he bring his chess pieces? It seems like a very large,
sentimental.
He brought
I just didn't understand.
He brought the box,
and he had the chess pieces in it.
Well,
he brought the box. It is the same box that he leaves under the volcanic rock.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is the same
Okay, I
box.
did not make that connection.
I don't know if it's actually something that he is thinking about, that like, oh, I'm going to leave a letter for Red under this on this exact location.
That postcard was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Maybe it is something so that Red's, in my mind, maybe it's something that Red sees and he goes, fuck, it's the thing from Andy. Holy shit.
He still probably smelled really bad, though.
I don't deny it, Ryan, but I'm a fucking riot. You don't want to fuck with me, okay?
It said 5 football fields full of shit.
And puke, because he definitely vomited.
Yeah, he vomited multiple times.
Oh, I think we all would. But the thing is, if it's downpouring too, guess what? That's your standing shower. And if you have a bar of soap, that'll clean you off.
1960s as well. Nobody's smelling
I'm just
super fresh.
I'm just thinking maybe that first bank he went to, he kind of smelled like shit a little bit. And then he got the money for a hotel. And then he showered up. And then he went to the rest of the hotels after. I don't know.
I think
rest of the banks, yeah.
I was curious on the
banks,
timeline. Okay, so sorry. This is what my mind goes to. Timeline of Andy escaping, so physically being out of the pipe, to them noticing would you say is about 12 hours, maybe just shy of 12 hours, maybe 8 hours?
The next, still counting the next day or whatever.
So,
which would be 8, 9.
I would say 7, 8 in the morning.
I would say closer to 9 or 10.
But by that time, the only thing that I maybe had an issue with is he would have to find some. I'd imagine he'd have to find some type of transportation, because I can't imagine a jail just being, close to any major city. So that was one of the pickiness, but I didn't really want to get into it. But he definitely had some time when he got out, because he's a different person altogether. Okay. And this is before the internet.
He's got different clothes, so he probably changed. Maybe got hitchhiked or something, I'm guessing.
Could have hitchhiked. I would also look at it.
Because once you get that money, he could just buy a car and be like,
I'm going to mention my picky nits. Do you guys have any more? Because
no. That was the only.
I would just say that his Ziploc bag must have been one of the greatest Ziploc bag of all time.
Tie a knot in it.
To keep all his shit fresh and all that shit. And
it was Ziplocked and then inside of another bag. But I agree. It's again.
It's a movie. It's fine.
It's fine. Let's not.
So it's fun to pick nits.
Yeah, I'll just mention that the 60s, again, as you were saying, I'm sure nobody probably smelled the best there. But I would also just say that the my one picky nit would just simply be that they're supposed to be showing these two men aging 19 years. Red Morgan Freeman looks relatively the same. They didn't do too much there. Andy Dufresne, they basically just made his hair a little
gray,
a little bit of.
I would have liked to seen very subtly, like, add in some lines on the facial thing. Not terrible. Not something like.
I think they did a good job aging.
Not like Ray Liotta and Blow, because I think that was too. You could see it, like they were clearly trying to age him 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
But like just something a little bit to like show in his face, because like to me, Andy looks as fresh faced as he kind of did when he went in.
I think it was enough for me with the gray hair. He looked a little older. Plus, they gave him the glasses. He's wearing the glasses more.
So very very slight pick nit. That's really the only one that I have on mine. I do want to ask. I'm just going to kind of rapid fire some questions.
Hit me.
It's more about the giant tone here of like just simply racial, and not so much racial, but like more in judicial injustice. There's a lot of these like shits that's going on throughout the movie. Whether it's he's convicted, where basically he's saying I didn't do it, and they're basically saying no, you did do it, so you're convicted. And then also the warden being a fucking absolute tyrant in the thing. My overall question here, and again, it's maybe not yes or no. It's like, can you see your guy's self if you're sentenced to a double life, right? Double life. You know that you didn't do it. What is your mindset? Are you like, I'm going to prove myself right, or are you saying the system fucked me? It's over, and then you maybe take one of those other methods of trying to be like, I'm either just gonna live my life, in a library, or I'm just gonna fucking, what are you doing here?
If you got no chance of parole or getting released, then I mean, fuck it, right? Who cares? I would do what he did. It was try and escape if you can. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but like
it's happened. I mean, was it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Philip Morris, is about someone who literally escaped.
Like that. I mean, you got nothing to lose if they catch you. Oh well, you're gonna go back to jail. You're gonna be there anyway. You know what I mean? Like
I'm kind of on that one. Is like if I'm going double murder, I'm saying fuck the law. Like especially in the '60s, mind you, I'm going. There's no way that they're going to be able to prove. Like I think Andy should have known that as well. Is that even if he gets to the warden, even they go through the steps and do all this stuff, they're never going. Like he's never going to see
legally the outside of that prison
it's
wall.
It's a double murder
because the reality is Tommy, multiple convict.
Yeah, they're not going to believe.
So credibility's out the window, and then this guy, what's prompting him to admit to it? He said he did. Yeah. No, I didn't. I mean, there's your case.
One, there's no probably back then like DNA evidence.
DNA was never a thing. Yeah.
You know, you got corrupt cops who good luck proving them wrong or whoever witnesses. Right. Like there's no like cameras and
and then, so again,
video.
That's where I'm kind of at too. Is that like I think that that you're fucked legally through the court system.
Mm-hmm. Also, maybe if I'm Andy, maybe I want to shank the sisters because fuck it, you know they're gonna just keep.
They're already. I think the main guy.
That is an interesting point. Why didn't Andy go full Shank style? I'm gonna murder these guys.
Didn't seem like that type of person. You know, that's his character, I guess. Okay. But you know, maybe
he's more meek.
Maybe take out the leader, take out Boggs, and then
he fought back. He did,
but he didn't.
Sometimes,
but he could have shanked someone in the cafeteria line or like in the shower.
Saying he could. I think at a certain point he could have.
Hey, Red,
easily taken out Boggs.
Red, can you give me a shank? You can get anything in here, right? You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, this is again the judicial injustice and stuff. Like this movie really shows that you like prison is fucked in the head, man. Like like especially again the way in which they portray this 1940s, 50s, 60s. You can make people disappear. Yes, the warden eventually got his comeuppance.
I love that how he's just like, hey, can you put this in your outgoing mail? You know, sent it to a major.
But I'm just saying is that like this is why I think one of these movies. This is just more of a general. Comments is that this is why I think this movie is definitely top tier is that it does show you the brutality of prison, but it does it in such a way that you have that like Andy got out, he did it, he made it. So him and Red are sipping on margaritas on a beach, you know, thousands of dollars.
They almost didn't do that ending. They had like 3 different endings, and that was the one they eventually settled on. But
I didn't know there was alternates.
Initially, Darabont didn't want to do that. He wanted to do like I think just maybe. Red getting on the bus and heading towards Andy, but not knowing if they
ever
reunited or not. I love the ending the way it is. So I'm glad they ultimately chose that.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. The only other thing that I will say here is that I did actually really like that the poster girl did change every decade.
Yeah, it kept it
relevant. Rita Hayworth to was like Sophia Loren or whoever.
No,
Raquel Welch.
Marilyn Monroe to
Raquel Welch. Another Seinfeld reference. Doesn't swing her arms. So that's another Seinfeld thing. Shawshank.
Shawshank, we love you. So we're gonna land the plane here. I am gonna.
Are we doing any spinoffs or are we?
Oh yeah, if you got one, shout it out.
I just have Andy and Red post prison. I just want to see what they're doing. Maybe they got a boat business or a bar, bar. I don't know.
I got Red pre-prison might be cool, but overall, I don't think I didn't really find.
I wanted to see Tommy. I wanted to see the ins and outs of Tommy. You know, because he eventually
before he got to the Shawshank.
Well, yeah, before he got to Shawshank, because he had a girl. He had she was pregnant. So it's like maybe just kind of like weaving through his life a little bit, and then as he enters Shawshank, that's the end of the series.
I mean, he was a career criminal. That'd be cool.
Career criminal.
Yeah.
Do you know what that could have worked very well as? Series, like limited series.
That's what I'm saying, like a 6-7 episode, and then
been cool.
Him entering Shawshank ends the series.
I would say there's a lot of good cinematography in this movie, and I had one particular one, the first overhead drone shot of the prison when Andy arrives for the first time. They show like the whole prison.
The whole bitch, yeah.
And I think that was a really cool shot. Roger Deakins, one of the best cinematographers. So.
Sorry, yeah, now we can
Shout out.
Shout out.
All right, everybody good?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Let's go to rankings. Okay, so I have, this is definitely an
Aaron.
There it is. All right, this is definitely an own it. There is a weirdness here in that I do not own it, but it is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's what happened. This is just a real particular thing with me is that I got to a point probably about 10 years ago where collecting DVDs was like my fucking thing. I was like, every year I'm like, I'm getting DVDs. Please buy me DVDs if you're going to give me a gift. I was like, give me all the DVDs. And then it just stopped one day where I was like, I just don't get, like, maybe streaming started to kind of kick off.
I think Netflix made it
That's
possible.
part of it, sure.
Yeah.
But I just, like, I stopped collecting. And this is one of the movies that I definitely developed an appreciation more for, like, I would say probably within the last 10 to 15 years. But it's just something where I'm like, you should own it.
Well,
I don't own it, but it's just from the simple fact that I kind of stopped collecting.
It's a TNT staple, too. It's always on there.
Always on.
You know, so.
Were you guys able to stream this? Because I didn't have that. Was it Paramount? I don't think I had.
No,
funny you should mention that. There was one guy who had on YouTube. He had
That's what I watched.
Uploaded,
I did the YouTube
which was
one.
good. And then I have the DVD, so I was okay.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
watched it on YouTube
It was
for
pretty much
free.
$3.99 across the board, unless the free YouTube.
Yeah, the
YouTube
one guy
thing
you
that
uploaded. I don't know who you are, but you're the
Thank
man.
you. We
Thank
appreciate you.
Shout out.
Subscribe, like
Yeah,
us
so
too.
again, you should own it. I don't, but again, I think that could be a very simple exception that I make within the next next purchase that I make.
You
of
know what,
DVDs.
Woj? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna get the Bluray. I'll give you my DVD. That way you got
Yeah,
it.
because the quality's
My
not going
man.
to change much from a 94 film.
I prefer it
Guarantee
on
it
the
does.
original stuff. It makes it that much better. My rating is 9.9.
Damn.
Yeah, again, one of
mean,
my favorite.
yeah,
and
it's-
one of the best dramas that I think was made in the 90s, hands down.
I can't argue. It's a good take. Not a bad score at all.
All right, go ahead, Ryan.
I'm gonna go own. I do own it. I have the DVD. I'd like to upgrade to the Blu-ray. I think I need.
I mean,
to.
we literally just talked about that.
Yes, I know. I'm just just going in my process here. This is not like a go-to for me, like it is for you. I've seen it, I don't know, a handful of times. I got into it later in life, maybe within the last like 10 years or so. I'm gonna give it 8.8. I thought it was really good. But again, it's not one that I go to often, but when I do, I enjoy it.
I like that you kind of bring it. This is a movie that if it's on, I could pick it up wherever it is, and I
Right,
could
yeah,
enjoy it. If I have to leave, though, it's not gonna upset me. I don't have to see this thing through the end. Yeah. So it is an own it type of movie. But in a sense, you could, I don't own it actually. But I
would you own it?
I would classify it as an own it, but
it's worthy of being owned.
Worthy of being owned, but for me, it's more of a pickup movie. I'd give it a 9.6. I really thought it was done well. Really top tier movies. We've had a couple good ones.
I realize my score is probably a little lower than you might expect, but again, I'm staying true
to you.
To like, do I pop this movie on? How often do I pop it on? Like, the quality, the cast, the acting. So it's an A+ movie. If you're going by that, but for me, I'm just gonna.
I get you though. Hey, you have your own personal criteria. Yeah. I get it.
I think we should always stay
true to yourself.
No, I think we should always keep in mind that the ratings are what we think of the movie. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No,
what
sure.
It's very subjective.
Well, I'm just thinking behind the curtain. Like for me, like I do a couple things in there, like the overall quality of the acting, the producing, the directing, the influence of the movie, and just how often do I watch it? Do I know it that well? Like, is it a rewatchable for me?
You have a more complex rubric of scoring.
Yes, you do.
How much did I enjoy it when I was watching it? How likely am I to watch it again and again?
I totally get that. Ryan is a complex human being, and he likes.
He's our subject matter expert
I'm just
here.
showing you how the sausage is made.
I just simply give you a score of how much do I like this movie and do I watch it often.
You're like 8.8. What the fuck, Shawshank? It's a good score still.
No, hey,
I dude. Anything in the 8s is fine for a movie. If you go, and let's be real, if you go into the 6s or below, it's because
you've gone there a few times.
It just wasn't. It wasn't.
Well,
it's cup of tea.
It's an A+ quality movie, but for me, it's going to be like more of a B+, A- on the entertainment scale.
Okay, fair. Who's teasing?
It's me.
Who's next?
All right.
All right, guys. You know what? I've been waiting for this one. Nate, it's not the one you think. It's not the one you're thinking of.
No, it's all right. I'm excited.
It's not the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
But this is a top 3 movie for me in the same vein of that one. I'm going Dazed and Confused. Fucking doing it. I fucking love this movie. I'm so excited.
All right. You heard it here first. Words are hard. Dazed and Confused coming at you next week.
All right.
Also coming next week is going to be our recap of our second golf outing. So check that out. We'll do some Instagram videos and shit
We'll try not to suck.
We'll probably talk on Hard Knocks again. A new episode will come out. You know?
I definitely will be watching the Hard Knocks for the next one to be caught up on that.
And then as the weeks come out, we're definitely going to be throwing more fantasy football, more football things in.
Fantasy will be coming back with full
into
vengeance.
the fold, into the agenda.
Yeah, and so we'll do all that shit that we just talked about. So we will. Let's give a sign off here, Bob Arena. I'm going to throw it over to you. Say goodbye to the people.
Thank you for joining us on the Journeymen Lounge Podcast. We hope to have you back. We got a lot more in store, so like, subscribe, and check us out on Instagram.
Thank you for watching us. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Good soundbite.
That was a Shawshank quote.
Yes, that is correct.